Welcome to International Geneva, coming to you today from the AI for Good Global Summit in Geneva. It's a United Nations platform for a global and more inclusive dialogue on artificial intelligence. One woman participating is Anousheh Ansari. She's the first female private space explorer, the first astronaut of Iranian descent, and only the fourth private explorer to visit space. She's also the CEO of the XPRIZE Foundation, which runs competitions to solve some of the world's biggest challenges. I want to find out how AI is supercharging space missions. Before we dig deeper, why is XPRIZE co-organizing this AI for Good Global Summit together with the UN? What's in there for you?
So as a foundation, we're focused on how technology can transform the world in a better way and how we can use the power of the crowd and technology coming together to solve the world's grandest challenges. And what we've realized over the recent years that data and AI plays a big role in all these solutions. So we wanted to create an international dialogue about use of AI for good, and we actually had a prize that was launched through IBM Watson, AI for Good. And we had teams competing. So we felt that this is a great place to start that conversation, how it's important for us as a global community to come together and look at some of the very pressing issues involved with AI if it's not done properly.
The race for AI in space is on, especially for the dominance. So that's between Jeff Bezos, who has Blue Origin, for example, and Elon Musk with X Space as well. What do you think about this race for AI dominance in space?
Well, XPRIZE Foundation has been at the forefront of creating this new marketplace to bring private companies into the race. We launched our first prize, the Ansari X Prize, almost 15 years ago. It was won 15 years ago, and we launched it almost 22 years ago. And it was all about trying to bring the private sector, because we feel that private-public partnership and the private sector involvement can advance technologies much faster, further, and much more efficiently. And that has enabled companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin to be here and be part of this conversation. I think with having tech entrepreneurs involved, you're bound to bring AI to the picture. I think the problems right now everyone's trying to solve is reduction of the cost and the efficiency of access to space. So that's where the technology and AI is focused. But I believe that private market that will reward those who come up with the best solutions in the best amount of time. So
on that
we'll
topic, for example, Jeff Bezos hopes to take Blue Origin to space, create an infrastructure to allow millions of people to live and work in space. But this is a crazy idea, isn't it?
Well, to me, it's not that crazy. I think it's bound to happen. It's maybe futuristic, but it's not crazy.
How soon is it going to happen?
I believe for us to have a permanent place, it will probably first be on the moon. We already have a permanent structure, which is our International Space Station, where astronauts, work and live. And we're going to do the same thing on the moon. There's space agencies, NASA, ESA, everyone's working together on that. But also Jeff Bezos announced that Blue Origin will be involved in settlement on the moon. SpaceX is involved, and this all with collaboration with the government space agencies. So it will be for a limited few for a long time. But I think in the next probably 50 years we will have a settlement at least on the moon. And Mars will be much more difficult, but we'll definitely be going to Mars.
There's no limit in sky and space, is there? Now, Elon Musk, for example, he has invested in XPRIZE as well and has awarded 2 startups with $10 million for funding their projects. What's your collaboration plan with Elon Musk going forward?
So Elon has been part of our board of trustees and supportive of our activities in terms of using competition to solve problems. So he sponsored our global learning XPRIZE, which we awarded the 2 top winners. And they are going to use their software, which all the finalists have open software to teach children reading, writing, and basic arithmetic. So we're very excited about that, and we hope to continue our collaboration. We don't have anything in the works right now with Elon, but as he believes in our leverage through competition and bringing the power of crowd to solve the solution, to find the solutions, I'm hoping that we will have further collaboration together.
How will AI become a game changer for our daily lives, especially in terms of data collection and analytics, and change our lives on Earth, but also in the future on the moon?
Well, AI is already a big part of our everyday lives. All of our activities that involve technology has AI embedded. We all use mobile phones, and there's bits and pieces of AI in every application that we run. It's about learning and responding to our needs better. So the areas that I'm mostly excited about is use of AIs in health and healthcare area, because it will transform how we treat patients, how we diagnose patients, and the treatments and the frequency of the treatments that will come to fruition and allow us to take advantage of those. I think in terms of exploration and research, AI has already been a big part of that, and it will continue to grow. The data collaboration is a big part of how fast AI can become part of our everyday life. Today, data resides in silos, and access to this data sometimes is difficult. The data itself and the quality of data
Would you
is an
say
issue.
this is the #1 challenge?
I would say this is the #1 challenge, to have data that it's valuable data, clean data as we call it, and that is accessible and available in a way that innovators can make use of it. And I'm hoping that the XPRIZE will play a role in making that happen as well.
Geneva, where we are here right now, is home to CERN, of course. It's the world's biggest particle physics lab. What do you think about Geneva as a place for AI? Because the city is not really on the map yet for artificial intelligence.
Well, Geneva is known for a lot of researchers, and I think researchers by nature use technology, including AI and machine learning and deep learning these days, in a lot of the research they do. So I had the privilege of visiting CERN personally and fascinated with the work that's being done there, and I know that they definitely use AI in their research at CERN. But I think there is a very large university and research population here that is renowned in the world, and perhaps it's not used in a visible way by everyday companies, and there's no AI companies in Switzerland. But when you have researchers and people who understand the data, I think you're bound to happen, and you will have hopefully an environment that would foster startups in this area as well.
You also have a very strong connection to Switzerland, because you're a World Economic Forum global leader and also on the WEF's Global Future Council. How important is the city of Geneva and Switzerland to you personally?
My history with Geneva and Switzerland comes from many years ago when I started my early career. I was a representative for the ITU Standards Committee, so I've been coming here for many years, and I saw how it's a place that convenes people from policy-making sides, from technology and research side, from university. So the public and private sector comes together here in Geneva, and it's a place that people feel safe to convene and have the difficult dialogue. So I hope that that tradition continues into the future, because more and more as a global society we need these types of conversation, whether it's climate change and environmental issues, and use of technology, and creating sort of a collaborative, comprehensive framework for an international community to work together to make our world better. So I cannot think of a better place than Geneva to be the host of that conversation.
Let's come back to more private money and startups cashing into space as well, especially when it comes to satellites and spacecraft launch and design issues. What kind of opportunities do you see now for big business and big money?
We're very excited about the entire marketplace that's growing for private space industries. I think right now a lot of activities we see it's focused on the launch capabilities and access to space, which is the first step to opening up other business opportunities. So I'm excited about that and the level of activity and innovation there. But I see a large, actually also interest in using the other types of technology, which like imaging and sensing, that's coming together and being miniaturized and becoming more affordable. And private companies are putting these constellations of satellites in orbit to better understand how our world is changing and using that data into existing businesses like insurance and agriculture and farming. And I think these types of data and collaborations into business will flourish it's already flourishing. But the next set of, I think the leap forward would be actually in settlement on the moon and going beyond just our planet and the low Earth orbit and creating communication infrastructures and actually infrastructures that will be permanent on other celestial bodies.
So, Ms. Ansari, would you like to live on the moon or any other planet in the future, and which one would it be?
I love living in space and working in space, so I would love to go, whether it's moon, Mars, or beyond. It really doesn't matter as long as I'm in space. But what I would really love is to be on a spaceship Enterprise and explore the universe and not settle even in one location, because I think with exploration human beings learn about themselves and the universe, and that knowledge is what expands our mind and the possibilities that we see in this world. So I love to explore and continue to explore further.
And this is your driving force why you want to go out there and explore?
Absolutely. It's been a big part of my life, and I feel like using our imagination and exploring is what makes us a very unique being, and to tap into that energy and power and create things is what makes us human and makes the world we live in better.
At XPRIZE, you have developed and designed about 17 prizes in areas like space, the oceans, environment, health, and so on. What's next for you? Where do you want to award more prizes in the future?
We feel that right now there is a push for creating more environmental breakthroughs. We see all these reports that really alerts us to how fast things are changing, and if we don't do something about it, we'll have a bigger problem that may not be solvable easily.
So could AI also help fight climate change in that regard, in your opinion?
I think AI plays a big role in fighting climate change. The best part of it is to understand the data that we have, and then using that same data to see where there are smallest incisions, if you would, we can make in order to actually slow down first and hopefully reverse climate change. So I think that types of modeling will play a big role, of which AI is at the center of it. And health and nutrition is another area which I think it impacts environmental data and issues, but also it's important for human beings as our population grows.
Let's also briefly talk about the business model of XPRIZE. You have Google, for example, as sponsors as well. Do you talk to other Swiss companies as well?
We're a global company, global foundation, nonprofit organization, and we believe in leveraging every cent that we get into bringing tenfold or more in innovation. So our first prize, the $10 million Ansari XPRIZE, brought in $100 million in investment in the companies that competed for the prize, and then opened up a $10 to $100 billion marketplace. Our Google Lunar XPRIZE, the $30 million, instigated about $400 million of investment in the teams and opened up a huge lunar economy. So we believe in the power of leverage, and we hope to use that globally with support from governments, institutions, in partnership with them to launch many prizes in all of our 7 domains, from learning to health to food and agriculture to mobility and transportation, to really advance the conversation about how we can make this world a world of abundance for everyone, not just a selected few.
Is that a problem, not that after awarding those prizes you lose track somewhat and cannot really make sure that these projects are implemented as well?
Well, we built a certain criteria in our prize model to make sure that there's a sustainable business model. So as part of making sure that they are implemented, we built that into the prize. However, we have not, as a foundation, we have to sort of pick your battles. So in our early years, we've been very focused on just bringing the innovation and innovators together and giving them a platform to develop their products, and then putting them in touch with potential investors and believing that it will come to market. So the first prize, again, was a great example where Richard Branson actually at the winning of the XPRIZE announced that he's going to commercialize the solution. In other prizes, some of them are taking longer to make it to the market, but as a foundation we have decided that we're going to create better infrastructure inside the organization to facilitate the conversations in making sure that the entrepreneurs and innovators actually are able to get their solutions into the market better. And we're doing partnerships in that area, so we welcome anyone who wants to collaborate with us.
So if you give some advice to the people of Switzerland here, to the young entrepreneurs and students in this country, where should they go in terms of, you know, looking for ideas and coming up with projects and maybe also compete in your prizes?
So right now we have one active prize that is called the Avatar XPRIZE, and we're still accepting applications for registration. So I really urge them to go there. Even if they don't want to apply, we have a $25,000 prize for anyone who will recommend a team that will end up winning a prize. And this is about bringing robotics, sensing, imaging, machine learning and AI all together in an integrated system where it allows someone through a avatar actually feel present in a different location and actually do everything that they would be able to do if they were physically present in that remote location.
All sounds very exciting, and I wish you the best of luck for your future missions, especially to space.
Thank you very much.